Good morning. Now, I know that the audio and video may not be perfect, but from the emails that I've received and from the comments that I've received and from the text messages that I've received, and plus what is being said, that some of you do appreciate this ongoing spiritual commentary. And so what I'm doing is I'm showing you that we are in a very crazy time to be alive. And it's my goal to personally meditate and pray upon the spiritual meaning of this time period that we are in. And it's really important for me to be here or at the park, not at Starbucks or McDonald's too much. I do that in short, small doses to share the light where there are portals of darkness. I don't eat McDonald's every day. I eat what I can afford to eat. I can't afford to eat grass-fed beef, that's steak, that's $7 a pound or $10 a pound. My food budget is very, very limited. And so there are people that make observations that I am in unhealthy environments and seem to be a product of the matrix. That is a perception. I can't necessarily control that, all right? And so I still am in the matrix, true. I still am in major cities where there's fast food restaurants. I still do consume mainstream products because I am not at an economic level or basis where I can look down upon the unwashed masses and look fancy with an info babe next to me in a mansion, for example. I suffer because of the path that I've taken. So let's start here and look again at the magnetic storm activity. Okay, this is where we're at now. And we saw increased activity several days ago, and then in around the time of Valentine's Day. All right. This is a video on the spirituality.
The feeling that something big is about to change,
of this
but you
time
can't
period.
quite. That's because we are in the final phase of February, the last stretch before everything that's been stuck, delayed, or trapped in limbo suddenly explodes forward. This isn't just another week. It's the build-up before the breakthrough. And trust me, when this energy breaks loose, it won't be subtle. This may just be your window of opportunity, but only if you know how to align yourself with this energy. Keep watching, because there's one specific thing about this final phase that nobody seems to have noticed yet, and when you realize what it is, it's going to blow your mind.
What I sense is that I am subject to harassment and hate in and around times of solar flares and planetary alignments. But I choose to continue to create content anyways, because I have a belief that some people are actually benefiting from some of this content. Can I get a like or an amen? And I ran a recent poll and I asked you honestly, are you someone that supports this content, that work that I'm putting out there to give you additional perspectives on why the world is so wonky and crazy? And most of you have voted that yes, you do appreciate me continuing to show up. So that's why I do continue to upload, okay? Even though there's aspects of my life that I'm not very happy with. I'm ultimately not happy as a person if I'm not sharing with you on a regular basis spiritual perspectives. And so when I took time off from the internet and closed down my channels, okay, I became very, very sick, life-threatening sick, to the point where I realized that my life and my health is in danger as long as I continue to be silent about the issues that matter. But there are times, however, that come in which I feel attacked psychologically by the audience, in which I see patterns of people becoming possessed, okay, in line with this solar flare cycle. Basically, people turning on me for no reason whatsoever, when I'm basically, all I am is a mirror, a reflection in some cases, and basically a finger pointing away to a certain reality, pointing to certain realities and potentials, and sharing certain perspectives that make people feel very, very uncomfortable and threatened. They feel threatened when I share the light, when I share certain perspectives, to a point where many people want to shut down my light through evil, harmful words or accusations, things that are basically sent via email. And so there is a lot of darkness in this world right now, and I've traced it to this planetary alignment, and I predict that we're going to see a lot of chaos in the hours and the days and the weeks ahead. Okay. And there is a very gross intolerance within aspects of my audience that rears its ugly head during these energy shifts, where they deny that there's solar flares or that there's a solar flare influence over their hate intolerance. Basically, there's a veil that's lifted for many that connects many to demon portals and hatred. So the light is strong. Okay, these planetary alignments, it has a strong influence, but not everyone that is experiencing these energy shifts experiences vibrations and feelings of love. Many seem to show signs of aggression, intolerance, anger, rage, black magic. So there may be lots of attempts behind the scenes to engage in black magic or things that are not of God. And there may be increased psychic attacks that humanoids experience on the ground that actually come from the dark side. I experienced several dreams last night in which I experienced fatal car crashes and experienced going into the darkness and then into the light. And then basically a death and reborn scenario happened several times. So it was very, very real. And so the portals are open, folks, between the human world and the dark side. So people that are festering like creatures under this energy, they're showing their true nature, their true dark side. Those that intend to create intimidation, those that intend to control us and influence us to either shut down our channels or stop speaking, okay, entirely. Okay, these are times in which those attempts do manifest in order to shut down the light. But there's not going to be any shutting down of the cosmic light, even if we shut down our mouths. Okay, the light will continue, and there is a true light or a true exposure of the dark side and how it is manifesting in our current world order structure. Okay, so it is very important to understand some of the facts of what is taking place politically, even if today's video is not that ICE is telling people that they are going to run facial recognition all throughout social media to gain the personal identities of anyone criticizing what they're doing. And if you're paying any attention to some of what they're doing, people are ending up deported in countries that they're not actually from, and horrible things are already beginning to manifest.
Scratches the surface of what's really happening.
So let's take a look at this video.
We're at the edge of something massive, and once it starts, there's no going back.
Okay, the edge of something massive.
Most people thought February was going to calm down.
There's no going back. So something's happening cosmically that's really powerful right now. And I don't really think that my audience is deeply into the de-unfortunate enough for manifestation. What we can do is collectively pray to the same creator of all of us for protection, for guidance, to fill into our consciousness at this time, to pray to the true creator for the information, for the guidance, for the love that we need in our heart to make it through these new dark ages that we are in. We are in new dark ages. We are against demonic forces. And that is what is in control of this Illuminati New World Order system.
After the intensity of the past few weeks, a smooth, easy ride into March. Well, they couldn't be more wrong. This is not really a slowdown. In fact, what's coming in the next few days is setting the stage for something much bigger. We are about to witness two of the most powerful astrological events all in one single day. The question is, how will this energy hit you? Because for some, it's going to feel like a cosmic green light, an unstoppable surge forward. But for others,
they will become possessed and will be taken over by evil, and they will be attacking others.
I feel like
either shooting them verbally through the internet or shooting them in real life, or trying to say things to cause others to shoot at them in real life, which is also black magic. And how YouTube and the modern internet is basically a black magician's hangout, unfortunately. Very much unfortunately for those of us light beings, it's very difficult to use the internet now to attract conscious people to our work, because the very nature of the internet's ability to possess people towards the dark side.
Thrown into the deep end.
And so many people are kind of like, this picture, thrown into the deep end with no warning. But in fact, I am here giving them a warning about internet addiction, a warning about cell phone addiction. I am here providing a warning way in advance before 2025, telling you that there is Alice Bailey warning about mass possessions by 2025. And other people that have also warned about this year, like the late Tom Horn, who died in October 2023 before that major eclipse. Continuing with the video.
And with no warning. And if you think you already know how this next week is going to play out, you might want to think again.
Okay, so what's coming at us February 28th? What's going to be manifesting on the planet? Will there be any new 9/11 style events? Where will solar activity be in the coming weeks? And right now, at the moment that I'm recording or broadcasting, it is the 22nd of February. So what will be the crime statistics in the coming days? What were they last week? What is manifesting up on YouTube? And how many solar researchers out there are actually contributing real world advice on crime prevention? How many are stuck up in the clouds, so to speak, just talking about the grid going down or the same old, same old, same old? Okay, so what is going to be manifesting in our lives on our planet? I also heard that this is the last time that we dealt with an alignment like this was 15 years ago. And those were years that led to me leaving Portland, Oregon. Those were cosmic years, powerful years in which there was a major disconnect between myself and my Portland, Oregon audience during the Obama years. I wasn't on board the Obama train. So many of the people that fell in love with me during the Bush years were intolerant, leftists that were intolerant because I wouldn't get on board the Obama choo-choo train. And that same energy has reared its ugly head again today in other people into the Trump train or their own ways of looking at things. I will offend them also because I'm an independent thinker, an independent speaker who speaks his own mind without a script. And that's going to make me a threat to the servants of the dark ET agenda. They are the ones that will be threatening me and trying to force me into some sort of silence so that these perspectives are not shared. And so I risk my very life sharing unique perspectives about the planetary shift. Okay? And I refuse to be a slave to the system that has killed so many and is planning horrible things in our future. Our nation is in danger. Our economy is in danger. Okay? And so this is a time for information to come through. This is a time for information to come through from the gods, from the angels. This is a time to summon the angels. This is a time to spiritually fly to the angels. Okay? And call forth that power because we are facing a threat to the human species right now through what is happening technologically and in these major U.S. cities. Our human species is in danger.
It all collides on one day, a 7-planet alignment and a new moon.
We're facing a
This
false
isn't
flag.
just another cosmic event.
This
is a collision of forces.
Could be a series of shootings.
February 28th
a
is
series of
overloaded
accusations that certain events took place when in fact there's a false flag nature to who's actually behind it. Okay.
So much so.
And if there's any positive news that you want me to report on, please do so. Please find a way to contact me and say, hey, bro, you're too concerned with XYZ. There are positive things taking place. There are positive barbecues. Here, check this out. I did a town hall with my local community, and we talked about, dude, the very issues that you're talking about with Russia, China, World War III solar flares. We're doing a town hall on preparedness, bro. Check it out. I would love to hear about it. And I would love for you to give me the green light personally that it's something that I should promote on my YouTube channel. Like, if there is good news out there that's happening now or manifesting, if there's a romance that's manifesting in your life, if there's something positive that's happening in your life, a new vacation, a new opportunity, a new epiphany. If you're writing an amazing book about the nature of reality right now, and you want to tell me the cliff notes, and so it's not just in your own little world, you want to share the light. Again, my email is magicshift333@proton.me. Show me the light. Show me that you have a deep spiritual connection to God or the gods, as we would describe them. And tell me what is your cosmic download regarding the control structure on the planet. Tell me if you have access to my consciousness, what you think is really going on with either the death of your race, this race, What is, if you claim to be against the systems of control, your understanding of what is taking place in the cosmos and on the planet? Because I don't have a particular pastor that I look to, a particular YouTuber that I look to for information. There's no actual YouTuber online anywhere that I look to as my guidance counselor for what is taking place. In fact, I have very few people that I talk to behind the scenes for their perspectives, but I'm going to talk to a few later on today. Okay, but this is a very difficult time to be a spiritual person on the planet and to not have a spiritual community, which is why I crave a spiritual community in and around Sedona, Arizona, or other places in the country, to where a person like me with my quirky personality traits and observations, where it's welcome and where it's wanted. All right.
It almost feels designed. Think about it. 7 planets aligning.
This is heavy energy.
Moon wipes the slate clean. 7 planets. That's almost the entire cosmic orchestra moving in sync. Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Saturn, Mercury, Neptune, each carrying its own force, its own rhythm, and all converging at once. And then there's the new moon, a moment of reset, a dark sky, a blank page. Normally, a new moon is a time for new beginnings, but when it happens at the exact same time as this massive alignment...
I am trying to take time away from my own platforms. The problem is I'm addicted to uploading, and I like connecting with the same people, but I am trying to make a break from this channel and my other channels. I've tried to for a long time, a long ass time, and to make a geographical break and a lifestyle shift completely away from videos entirely, completely to just prayer, meditation, exercise, writing, and public speaking. If there's a way that I can be involved in gardening, building homes, structures, any way that I can be an apprentice as far as carpentry, it's in my genetics on my grandfather's side, on my mother's side, to be involved in hard blue collar work. So my body craves blue collar work, building homes, working with others, not so much holding hands in a circle. I say that more metaphorically than literally, but yes, magical things can happen in a circle. I want to be involved in being connected with the earth. I want to be completely immersed in the earth energy. I want nothing to do with cell phones, the internet for weeks at a time. I want to be completely immersed in the dirt, building earth ships and dealing with people that are evolved more beyond the average people that are those that we're walking by, working next to, and for that matter, talking to on the internet. I crave more than this reality. And by not having a community of people, of my peers that I can talk to at an open square, and feeling like in that song by Tom Petty, A Face in a Crowd, you are just a face in the crowd. It weighs heavily on me because there's so many people out there on this planet that are looking for information and ideas that are not the norm. And those are the very types of people that I'd like to reach. I like Portland, Oregon people, despite the harsh things that I've said, and I miss them so greatly, but it's not a place that I meant to be at this time. It's a very troubled spot.
And this isn't just a reset. It's a system.
There is a sense of a reset taking place, that we are meant to reset our lives. And I only hope to be a beacon of light and energy for some of you that are out there, even if you don't agree with me or like me on a lot of my perspectives. There is a reason some people do keep coming back to my video series. There is something that they're looking for, even if on some days they wake up and believe that they hate me. There is a source of light and answers that they are looking for within my video series. I do believe that. Even if on some days people are mean and hateful, there is a real reason why they're clicking play if they aren't completely taken over by the demonic side and have nefarious agendas. There is a reason that they look to me for a source of guidance or information. Okay, and that's what I've been seeking to do. And that's why I came back to the internet after 3.5 years of falling into sickness and darkness, when I ceased to speak my truth and connect with my people, which happens to be many of you, my people. My people are those of you, some of you that are listening, that have been here with me riding shotgun for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And I really hope that moving forward from 2025, that I can connect with other human beings outside of the internet, so that we're not talking back and forth via text message. We're not going back and forth via a tube screen. It's a real reality where my hands are in the dirt and I'm part of rebuilding society. And that's where I want to be. I want to be positioned at the right place at the right time, to where if the system is going to go down, folks, that the people around me are people that want me to be around them, and I want them to be around me, as opposed to the current situation to where everybody is a stranger. Nobody wants to work with anybody. No one's really prepared with the necessary food and water. Everyone is basically on their dependency system, on the grid, if you will, and not actually prepared to grow their own food and haul their own water. It's a worst case scenario for people in urban and suburban environments where there's a lot of people and very little respect or interest in prepping and community building. Okay. I've been saying for years that we already should be prepared with CB radios, prepared to deal with an emergency. And I play with a lot of fantasies that I'm currently not entertaining, but fantasies of helping my immediate community through CB radios by basically informing through a broadcast emergency preparedness information through a CB radio and low power FM. These were all things that I wanted to get going 6 months ago, 9 months ago, but the universe hasn't shown me that it wants me doing those things, even if those are things that I should encourage you to do for your community in Oregon, in Idaho, in California, in Colorado. I see in Nevada, okay, in Arizona, in Tennessee, in central Mexico, in whatever, in one of the northern states. Like, there's a lot that people can gain from my broadcasts, even if they don't completely understand what I'm saying.
This isn't normal. This is cosmic overload. Most people won't realize.
We're going to see probably systematic interruptions of aspects of technology due to the increased solar activity this week. I went into a McDonald's to do a stream a couple days ago, and their systems were down, and it was during a geomagnetic storm. So do you realize that there is a connection between when computers go down, corporations aren't able to make as much money because of some sort of like solar interference over their connections? Like, solar flares do have the potential to take us back to nature, folks, to a point where we have to make real communication with each other, which is why be aware of the zombie apocalypse programming being an anti-human program to demonize tomorrow's future American or human who doesn't have a power grid, who's basically starving and roaming around in search of food.
What's happening? They'll wake up.
They know what's coming, which is why they have brought us this zombie apocalypse mind control meme for mainstream Americans to obsess upon.
Off, restless, maybe even a little lost without knowing why. Because when this much energy stacks up in one day, it doesn't just stay in the sky. It hits you. You might feel it as a sudden urge to change everything, to break out of routines, to finally act on something.
Like, my obsession for a long time is to quit my channel. Okay, I've been trying to quit the channel. This is the coffee that I'm drinking. But I tell you what, with this much energy that I have running through me, without friends in my immediate environment, it's difficult for me to just walk away from this. I need to talk to somebody. And nobody in the mental health field or the crisis hotlines wants to hear me talking about crime prevention, the evil behind the New World Order, 9/11. Like, that's not something that they touch. This is the place for me to do that. YouTube, social media, things of that nature. Okay, and so threats coming in, trying to get me to stop uploading art of God is cruelty. Okay, people need to hear these perspectives.
Something you've been holding back, but for others, it could feel like a pressure wave, anxiety, restlessness, like the universe itself is trying to shake you awake. And the real question, what happens when this energy gets released? Because once this day passes, nothing is going back to the way it was.
Okay, so that's why I'm making this video, is I'm seeing signs of mass possessions in society, in the news, in the way that people are acting. And there is, as I predicted, seems to be some sort of like energy war taking place, a battle of light and dark.
It ends at 28 days. But what if it didn't? There's something eerie about February 29th. It only exists in leap years, a day that appears and disappears.
So we're going through a planetary alignment that's rare, and it completes itself around this period of the 29th of February. So what is coming energetically? And then I can also pause this video and come back with another. What are some of the positive activities that we can do in our personal lives to avoid the negativity and the hatred of others? What can we do during this? What can I do as a life coach for you, as a guidance towards the light, away from the darkness, to encourage those of you that do want to evolve consciously, and to encourage others to evolve consciously, and to educate themselves as to how things are? This is a learning opportunity for you to reach others.
Appears.
Okay, this is an opportunity for you to potentially reach some people in your community or your midst with a new idea or a consciousness, okay, regarding why things are the way that they are on this planet, because people are seeking answers. And this is the real reason why some people find themselves to be suicidal. It's the solar energy influence. It's the intensity of it all. Also, another story that I've read in the news here that talks about a girl that died by suicide when she was bullied by her peers this week, taunting her that she was going to be deported by ICE because of her nationality. And so the reason why she was bullied by so many people this week to the point where she killed herself is due to the energy changes, that the energy changed to such a degree, okay, that the other heritages or planetary influences ganged up on her to attack her to the point where she self-destructed and she killed herself. A girl, 11 years old, died by suicide. Okay, this is not something that surprises me. Okay, we're going to be seeing more young people kill themselves because of the bullying that is taking place via technology. We're going to see more bullying via technology in 2025. Okay. Let me get a like if you appreciate this unique perspective that I'm sharing, and I'm considering giving you a second video after this rather than hitting pause, but continuing forward. But let me know that you're there. And I would like to hear from the audience yourself as to how you're experiencing this planetary alignment, what you're noticing at work, what you're noticing from others, what you're noticing in yourself. And are you also having increased dreams like I am? And I feel like I'm having psychic astral meetings with other people on the inner planes. This is what some people are going to consider crazy. It doesn't matter. I've already been talking about spiritualistic topics for a long time, and this is a time in which seers are going to come under attack because of what is happening astrologically. So it doesn't surprise me in the day and age in which even said guru is receiving death threats. Okay? I myself will fall into harassment also because I'm speaking outside the box of where a lot of people want to go. Okay, so this is a time period of increased spiritual attacks that I'm going to go through, being who I am, being that I chose to take the risk, okay, by coming back to the internet when I already knew that mass possessions were occurring. Okay, so these mass possessions come and go. They come and go. Okay, and they are cyclical. So it's never like a mass possession situation where it's up and away and it reaches just a crescendo to where it's just completely, it comes, and there are periods where people go back to their natural selves and start showing kindness again. And then there'll be another period or another influence where the nasty will come out, the cruelty will come out, the brutality will come out, the mass killings will come out, the drive-by shootings will come out, and then it'll quiet down to a seemingly normal. And regular scientific people in the community won't really figure out what's taking place. But I'll continue to speak about the planetary influence. And again, there are people coming and going. Contact me if you're aware. of mass gatherings at this time. Just because it's winter doesn't mean there shouldn't be mass gatherings. If people were really waking up, it doesn't matter if it's February and it's winter. There should be a mass conference of people that are authors, documentary filmmakers. You see, we have drifted away, folks. And that's what I'm here to promote. That's my idea of a consciousness expansion. People waking up again, having conversations about the issues that matter, forming conferences, having talks, writing books. I mean, this is a time to expand with consciousness and productivity. This is a time to counter the negativity with positivity. Okay, there's a time in which I am reaching an older age. I am approaching 45 years old during this time period. Okay, and so this is the period in which I have been born is not typically a period in which I experience happy emotions, but in fact, a lot of painful emotions seem recycled. A lot of traumatic emotions. The birthday time period is also like a time period occurring during winter, a period in which there's less light. And so I've never really had like a birthday party per se, or like a Christmas party where I've been with others. Unless I get on Facebook, I don't really hear a happy birthday from others. The winter is typically a time in which there's less light and there's more berating and psychic attacks and spiritual attacks. This is what I have noticed cyclically each year. And as the light opens up, as we enter into April and May, and those periods are periods in which we see an increase in kindness, for example, in some cases from the audience. Okay. And so for me, being online, okay, and being a mirror also for others, I also receive the energy in my heart of what's going on with the people that are watching me being sensitive. And so when they're in a dark place because of what's going on astrologically, there's parts of my psyche that feels that. And it feels brutally cold. Where consciousness is right now feels brutally cold. And for me to be online on a regular basis, being insensitive and picking up on that, folks, it's not schizophrenic to be tapped into non-local awareness, to pick up on vibrations from planets, moon cycles, and from others. And that's something that a lot of you have never learned in your official sciences, but it's real. And there's a lot of people in the Anglo-Saxon conspiracy theory movement that talk about psychic abilities and phenomena. It's not just something that I've talked about. So the hate is real, okay? And hateful thoughts and vibrations is a real thing. And that's a real testing the air, if you will. That's a real barometer, like a barometer effect that I can tap into in the way that I'm personally treated by the world, in understanding how the world is and how others are being treated and the general nature of consciousness on a planetary level. It's like taking a polling. And what I can tell you is, since coming back to the internet, it's been very, very disappointing. Me handing out my cards to plenty of older men that are right-wingers saying that I'll accept you for you, even if you voted for Donald Trump, as long as you accept me for me. Okay, that's my way of basically lowering my defenses to a certain degree and offering an olive leaf of friendship to people that may not believe exactly like I do, but to say, hey, while you may have been involved in the military, while you may have been involved in Trump stuff and QAnon, you're here now in the audience, and you need to know that that is very different content than what I represent. What I represent, what you're watching here, what you're investing your time in, is a very different energy than that. Okay. And so there's a reason why I need to tell you that I don't support those programs and people coming into my arena and my channels that have already been programmed by others. They can appear to be threatening and violent when they're acting like they're channeling a program of oppressiveness, knowing what the program is all about, the demons behind this new world order and their influence over aspects of the conspiracy right wing, which is very much all over YouTube. So I've said enough. I have a lot to say because I have all the energy running through me. Okay, so I have a lot to say at this time. And I really wish I had other platforms other than YouTube to share my ideas. Okay, I don't see how Spotify has been very helpful. Okay. So horrible things are coming basically in the coming horrible things are coming to the planet. And then there's going to be people that are going to be unconscious of the horrible things happening on the planet, and they're going to become unconscious with the war spirit also. There'll be war on this, that, and the other. They'll be overtaken by the spirit of fire. And I'm speaking intuitively as I'm receiving this perspective from this. So we're going to see basically it's a dangerous time, basically, to be a person with the light, with knowledge, operating out in the open. Like that time period has passed. Okay. People are becoming evil, cities are becoming evil and oppressive, and aspects of the system is reeling its ugly head. Not everybody in authority is possessed. Not everybody who has a badge is evil. There's plenty of good cops that are just simply doing their job. I don't know them. I've wanted to have good cops as friends, which is why I handed out my YouTube channel all over, because I wanted to get to know a good cop, so I get to hear a good cop's perspective on fighting crime, like a cop that would basically be able to understand the solar cycles. And I haven't been able to find that, but I'm sure that they're out there and that those good cops are suffering. And some of them, like I said, they may be committing suicide, not because they're guilty of something that they did, because they're so stressed out from all the crime taking place and they don't understand why it's taking place. Same thing for police chiefs who may have their authorities, or the people that hired the police chief, like breathing down their neck. Why do we have people doing X, Y, Z? Why aren't people able to control these people? Well, that's not exactly how things work. You can't necessarily just stop people from speeding. So people in the system and authority can learn a lot from what I'm trying to share with them. All right. I'm hoping to have a breakthrough spiritually in the coming moments, hours, days, to where I have powerful new epiphanies. And that literally comes from the spiritual fire from within. So like it's talking about the fire. And I just wrote a blog to you on Substack about the spiritual meaning behind Firestarter, the movie. In fact, this might be the perfect video to read for you now some of the perspectives that I shared. So let me go bring that up for you now. So I'm assuming that horrible things are going to be happening on the dark side in the future because of this energy. I can sense it. Okay. I can sense it, and I'm verbalizing without watching this video beforehand. Then I'm feeling that we're coming up on a moment and that we're going to be seeing things emerge. Okay. And there are people that are being overtaken right now with the spirit of murder, where they want to see people harmed. And so we're seeing stories about people driving vast distances in the United States to go kill people from one location or another. They are literally being overtaken by this fast, intense energy, and they're not grounded. And so it's a crazy time to be alive. Pay attention to the news happening locally that you normally don't see, or behaviors online that you normally don't see, like out of the blue, like hateful behaviors that are call to actions, like mounting pressures, riots happening, Jewish, Israeli, Gaza tensions. Man shoots people he believes are Palestinians, but they're actually Israelis. Like stories that you normally don't see that are manifesting out of the blue, where people are just attacking people that they believe are vulnerable. There's something about this planetary alignment that is bringing out a very hateful, racist energy. Okay. So don't be surprised when certain attacks come. Understand that they're going to come, and some people are going to mount collectively towards darkness because there is a turning against the light right now. So people can become taken by demons that are possessing them to attack others that are doing nothing to them. Okay. People will become possessed to attack others. Are you hearing what I'm saying? That are doing nothing to them, that are not bothering them, that are just doing their own thing. It could be seen in the form of a drive-by shooting or a terror attack. So in a completely different part of the world, there'll be like a terror attack, and a completely different part of the world, someone will be trolled, someone will be attacked, someone will be insulted with the same energy. So even though they're not an Islamic terrorist, they're still committing an act of terror with their heart by their attack to stab someone else with a dagger emotionally, through words, through hateful actions. So we will see all different types of hateful actions in the coming. And so if you are aware of spiritual gatherings that you want me to report on, if there is positive news that you want me to report on, something positive, something that says, hey, the world really isn't ending, there really are awesome things happening, then let me know, thank you for the like, what those stories are. But I'm not going to fabricate community barbecues and picnics that don't exist when they don't. All right. Now I'm going to wrap up my things and get going and head out under the sunshine to continue making videos throughout the day. Let me know your thoughts at magicshift333 at proton.me. So what are you feeling in your personal life? My life revolves around me having a channel and trying to attract people of an angelic nature to me, and my desire to live off grid again in harmony and to work full time with my hands in the dirt and to not be doing this type of a thing. But I want to be physically doing off grid things with a real community, making real change, getting prepared for the major changes that are taking place, which is preparing our soul for basically departure from this world. Because if you don't prepare your soul, this is deep, for departure from this world, then you could be courting yourself to be coming back to this world by involving yourself in the negativity of conflict, human earthly conflict that the devil wants to bait us in. The devil wants to bait us at this time. The devil wants to bait us at this time to responding to invitations to conflict with others. And we are to resist this invitation from the devil to have conflict with others. We are to call in Jesus Christ and the light consciousness frequency and ask for direction as our planet gets ready for turbulence. And the turbulence that this planet is going to be facing does include earthquakes, does include volcanic eruptions, does include that which you might have known to be earth changes. And understand that the New World Order or the Illuminati is not the ultimate dictator of that which manifests on the ground here on the earth plane. It's the creator. There is control over control. They are not the ultimate deciders of our fate and our soul. So there is a threat to free speech. There is a threat vibrationally to true light beings. And so we're going to see major events that are going to change our world forever. And the main thing that I'm shining the light on and has been is the reality of false flags blamed on the convenient enemy, which sends people into a racial spiral, which is the result of an alien attack on the human species. Okay. As they send our nation in the Western world into something that is akin to the reincarnation of Nazi Germany. Okay. It then damages the group soul, the group mind. It contaminates the vibrational frequency of those nations and of the people. Okay. And so there's a reason why the modern conspiracy movement doesn't believe that those lives matter overseas and views that those statements that those lives matter is political is of the dark side. Okay. There isn't a real understanding in the movements on the planet that we are equal, but quite the opposite. I'm just going to take a pause and show you something from Sufi Realities. I'm going to continue to play this out, but then we're going to go to Sufi Realities after this. And then we can also hit pause and come back and look at what is the recent news that has taken place in the last 24 hours. Like there is a sense that I should be doing live meditation all week long. There is no real reason for me to lead you into that. We all have our own problems. But I recommend that we do the group meditations or that we meditate. Okay. And then our thoughts could be in sync if we're focused on a positive outcome. Weird dreams. Seeing people behave strangely that I previously thought were good. People that I previously thought were spiritual or on the level. People are changing, okay? But are there people on the dark side becoming good? But again, are there people on the dark side in your life and in my life becoming good? Are we seeing that flipping? I'm not necessarily seeing that. I don't understand all of what he is saying, but he talks about a day that's coming. Okay, so we're just going to pause till we see him getting more to the meat of what he's talking about. But this is a good exercise in patience, listening to people of different perspectives and cultures and understandings that are talking about this era of time that we are in. So a lot of what he says, I don't understand, but I don't attack him. I seek to understand where there's a commonality because we both speak about the Jinn or the Archons and this force that's operating, this mind control that's operating through modern cell phones, this portal of technology. So he talks about what I interpret to be more of a real ascension or a real spiritual freedom. I think this is the meat of the topic right here. That our destiny is being written, that we are being tested, is what I'm telling you. It's during these periods in which there is a literal temptation from the dark side to join it or to bow to the demands of the dark side. And if we bow to the demands of the dark side, then we could put our soul in danger by serving or fearing the devil or those possessed by the devil instead of coming to serve God. Who are we going to serve? You cannot have two masters. Are you going to let the devil and the trolls and the minions be your master, or are you going to make the sacrifices and serve God? And so there's a lot of temptation right now to bend towards evil and the minions of the evil ones. Okay. They need to remember that the ultimate surveillance is coming from God. God is surveilling all of us on the planet. And that's the most important surveillance system to understand and respect. Not the lowly cameras down the street on Front Street, which aren't even stopping the brothers from downtown from raping a variety of people. No, 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 no. The real surveillance, because there's nothing that you say and do that's hidden from the Creator. Okay. And the Creator has its ways of observing every action, every statement, every text, every attempt to threaten someone. It's the Creator that is the ultimate thing that we are to respect. Okay. And it is the Creator that created the sun and the moon, in my understanding. And it's through the sun and the moon that these changes and temptations and forces come to humanity. we're going to go back to the other video shortly. See that we are holding the attention of 3 people. However, that's not what's important. What's important is that the people watching are learning and evolving spiritually. Because it isn't something that I'm profiting from financially or energetically to be creating content for people that find me or my personality to be adverse to their spiritual evolution. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not here for Mortal Kombat. Okay, I may have a different opinion than other people. I may be physically different. I have different ideas, but I am not here for conflict with anyone or any group or any political party. I'm here to be a beacon of light, to talk about events that are to come, and to encourage people to change the path that they are on if they are on the dark path. I have literally given my life, my soul, my spirit to this movement. It cannot be consolidated down to a phrase like the truth movement, because it isn't that simple. And there's many people in the so-called truth movement that are very much overtaken by Shaitan and Shaitan's whispers. It's way more abstract than that. This movement of people on the internet that are sharing some kernel of truth and are basically taking the bullet for it. And I have these dreams in which I pass away and I end up in darkness and I'm reborn in the light. And I realize that these are psychic attacks from the devil. And I may have seen, many people have seen UFOs in this life. I have not. But I have experienced certain anomalies in this world that has shown me that we are not alone in this reality. So I understand that there is a coordinated attack happening. There is a connection between sick human beings on the ground that would see themselves as humans, and their attitudes, their behaviors, their texts, their comments, and the true attitudes of the demonic. We are living in a world of mass possessions, to where the attitudes of the demonic and the attitudes of many humans that would speak to us and are around us are becoming one. Okay, I'm sure that some of you have your own stories and observations of what is taking place with others. I'm going to go back to video. I want to say that it was in the 2020 period. It was in the 2019 period, and it was in the 2020 period. What's called the Pisces Sophia, which is what an interpretation of Christianity that respects women more than Orthodox religions. In other words, women have greater spiritual powers that they were born with than what we are often seeing from the women in our lives and in contemporary religions. In other words, I am a proponent of women having greater abilities than what they are showing. Okay. And there's a reason why I read that and I activated that spirit. And I have noticed a connection between spiritual protection and the reading of the Pisces Sophia in my personal life. Okay. But it does draw out hatred. Okay. There is a real hatred that does come about when dabbling in certain types of content, Gnostic content. It definitely bucks up against the archonic system and the demonic system to have to venerate the sacred feminine. Okay, so I have a history of talking about that and a long history of talking about the demonic root of the knockout game on women. Okay, there's videos of me in 2013 talking about viral social media videos in which people gleefully watch women, usually white women, knocked out often at times by black suspects or black teenage thugs. And these types of attacks are increasing, and we see more of them during solar flares. It's not schizophrenic or mentally ill to be able to connect those dots. Do you understand? We're going to go back and forth between this content. I feel like this is the reality of light, he says. That this light and the science and the reality of light is not. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than the light. It's a bigger concept. It's a bigger concept. This God concept, ever expanding. May there be healing where there needs to be healing in this audience at this time. But you have to want it. You have to want to heal. You have to want the healing. You have to want the DNA upgrade. You have to want the expansion of consciousness. You have to desire it with all your mind. You have to want it right now at the moment that we're praying, for there to be a shift within your consciousness, for you to have the next chapter written for you, to where you get that download by opening up yourself to that understanding of the unseen realms, that you will have the epiphany, that which was previously confusing for you, be made clear. Have you ever had a moment? Yes, I have. Quite a bit. Yes, I know, son. Are you ready for what's coming with the alignment? Are you ready to see people shift personalities and do things they haven't done in decades? Jump into the box going, yeah! Are you ready to see the unthinkable? Are you ready to see the next level of earth changes? Are you ready to see things happening in your local news that haven't happened in 20, 30 years, that has a local law enforcement going, we have not seen things like this for years. Just what is happening? That's what I'm going through now. My body doesn't want to just rest. It wants to be in action Jackson mode. It wants to be online. It wants to be expanding into new channels and new websites. I'm ready to even leave physical items behind in order to move and start doing off-grid my hands in the dirt again, to do the real yoga, to do the real work, to rise above a reality in which I feel like I'm in chains in the grid. I want to be off the grid in freedom. I want to make the ultimate changes in my life to earn the real respect that I seek to earn from that which we choose to call God. As I say often, God, take me back, because I feel like I've fallen out of heaven. I'm feeling like, I'm suffering in human form, that this is not truly me, that this is an experience that is not the ultimate end all of experiences, that this is more of a test, that we are being tested here on earth. And I'm going to pass this test. I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep speaking. I'm going to keep writing. I'm going to keep serving the Creator in new, unique ways, sometimes using my channel, sometimes using other channels away from my main surname channel. But regardless, the spirit of truthing will continue even after I'm dead in future lifetimes, as I have spoken of these things in past lifetimes. Okay. This is not my first rodeo. A wired energy. So don't be surprised if you're experiencing strange dreams, if you're experiencing insomnia. One of the terms that uses sleep apnea or apnea. And I've noticed that there's a lot of people that watch my channel with autoimmune disorders, and I'm not really sure what that is, because some disorders are actually spiritual attacks. And there are people that found their way to my channel trying to fight off or evolve beyond these spiritual attacks. The problem is, as a healer, which I am, as an illuminator of secrets, I often come under attacks and veiled threats myself to stop creating content or face consequences. So that is the unfortunate dark side that I deal with from unstable people that are taken over by the demonic side. Okay, these are years that I predicted many years ago would be times of great, massive possessions and disturbances in the human population. So be advised and be warned. But as the text is telling us now, something is calling you awake. Something is stirring within you. Okay, and you should listen to aspects of your internal alert system that something is wrong in the world, that something is taking place in the heavens, and the massive disturbance taking place is not my channel. Okay, it is the energy taking place on the planet. Okay, it's not my channel that's the great disturbance on the force. It's the massive planetary alignment that is shaking things up. Something is calling you awake. Something is even attacking some of your consciousnesses. Some of you are aware of this, some of you are not, but this is the time in which people are changing into monsters. Okay. Some people are receiving downloads, and some people may be taken over by a foreign consciousness that seeks to lead them into trouble. And what the false downloads can often do to people that are not serving the light is lead them towards, and I understand this, relocating to certain areas that are not good for them. Okay. We might think that certain areas or geographies or certain places are ideal for us, and they may actually be places that are worst case scenario locations for the events that are to occur either during a World War III crisis or an asteroid collapse or attack on the planet, to where there's a massive uh, disruption of our food source. Wow. So we're heading towards a new moon, and this new moon energy is coming in as we get closer to spring. And as I've said many times, I believe that the spring period is really the new year. It's really the new time to spring forward with new ideas, new projects, new concepts. So, I may be evolving beyond uploading to my channels and finally achieving my goal of moving on with my life is just very difficult to say goodbye. You know what I mean? It's very difficult to stop doing what I'm doing because you're the only avenue that I have on this planet with people that are somewhat open to my ideas. That's why I continue to upload, even though there's nothing really coming back and I don't really have any positive things or friends in my life to hang out with, clink beers with, to date, things of that nature. It is the avenue that I have to connecting with free spirits, people that at times in the timeline are receptive to things that I'm saying or other things. Okay. And so with the current level of shadow banning, it's very difficult to just close up shop, start a new channel, and continue to help people. Okay. And so people like me, we deal with sabotage attempts I have my whole life to get us to shut down the channel, to stop talking for reasons other than just to stop the message from getting out to other people. Okay. And you need to have more people like me out there in this world talking about these things. Okay. But right now on this planet, I feel like my hands are tied. But perhaps I can manifest for myself a miracle in and around this period of March. Maybe a community could manifest a new goal, a new business, a new opportunity, something to work on full fucking time and put my energy into it because I've been putting my energy into this channel and my main channel, and it's not the energy and time put into the platforms is not yielding anything. Imagine yourself as a farmer planting and working and tilling the soil and imagine things happening that basically wipe away your fertility. And that's basically what the modern algorithm has done to the value of my content. It has made it has taken it from a fertile position, a powerful position, in some cases, a viral position. And they, behind the scenes, the engineers, have artificially reduced my reach. And that's why I have few viewers. I mean, think about having a channel of 16,000 subscribers and only a few people seeing the video. That is oppression. That is control. That's not 16,000 people going collectively, screw that dude. If they really felt that way, they would unsubscribe. They're not actually seeing the videos. And so the things that I've gone through that has led to my current poverty position is a result of control, artificial control, where I was not allowed to grow and evolve like other human beings, where they put a system of control and oppression under me to where I would remain enslaved financially, where I would not be free. Okay. So I'm trying to find a way in this shift, right, to find a new direction. And some of you have been watching me for years. If there's a way that you want to help me with this new direction, with these new goals that I've laid out, you can contact me and let me know what your thoughts are on this new direction that I'm trying to build for my life. I have so many ideas. There's so many people that I want to help in this world. I want to be involved in the off-grid freedom movement. I want to live off-grid again. I want to be invested full-time in eating healthy food and living around healthy people. And this environment has been a big challenge for me. Okay. And I'm hoping to make a change from that reality. Okay. But the friendships need to be developed behind the scenes via email. Okay. For that reality to manifest. Okay. Energetic upgrades. We're now going to watch a live feed. Okay. And we are proceeding slightly with caution, being that we are dealing with robot voices. Okay. But there is something in the air. It's like that song from Genesis or Phil Collins. I can feel it calling in the air tonight. Okay. So this is a time to not lose your head in how you respond to hateful energies, or negative memories in your own head. This is a time to evolve spiritually. I know I'm being very generic in what I'm saying, but I aim to be a life coach during these new dark ages that we're in. So it's something that hateful people also feed off of, the Mars energy. And avoid unnecessary conflicts. Hateful people, people that are rude in the supermarket. I also noticed somebody pushed Cash Jordan in a recent video where he was talking about what's happening in New York. And so this is not something that just you or I may be dealing with when it comes to the unsavory personality types that are out there in the era of the mass possessions, where a lot of people are just simply not themselves. Use this period to explode with passion. Do something with the energy. Okay, we're gonna have another peak in solar activity. It's not just gonna be 2024. There's gonna be a double peak in sunspot cycle 25. Okay. We are very much in countdown to July 2025. Remember to hit like, share, and make sure that people that normally won't find this content, that are open to this content, that they hear these perspectives. People that may be your friends, family, people on social media. There's a lot here for everybody on this and my other channels. And I'm going to be expanding what I do in 2025, but I have not yet determined which of the alternative channels would be best for me as far as BitChute, as far as Rumble. I'm not really drawn to right wing echo chambers. A lot of what I say is going to go outside of their worldview. So this is not it's interesting imagery there. This is a time to be mindful of your spending. My greatest desire, the best thing that could happen to me, is to have a small group of meditators and healers do like a group session. Okay, so we can't necessarily save the world with the unfortunate meditation techniques with the powers of our mind, but we can perhaps work on mutual healing and therapy and basically get the help that we need by talking to others about the issues that matter. Okay, that's what I think would be more fruitful rather than dealing with government services. And again, even to this day, I will call crisis hotlines looking for someone to talk to so I can release pent up stress and ideas with people other than you. And those resources just simply do not exist. There's a lot of technical difficulties. They like to hang up the phone. They like to treat these ideas as crazy. They aren't qualified, the people that work that are paid. And a lot of them are very unspiritual. All right. So we need basically what I need, what a lot of you need, some of you that are haters that are watching this. Okay. Is to have people in our lives where we can talk to our friends, our family. Okay. I have a great friend that I live with, but I honestly avoid talking to her now because she doesn't want to hear about these concepts or things regarding China and surveillance. She very much trusts cell phones, baby monitors things of that nature, things of the matrix, also the vaccine and the jab, and the official story of COVID. And so it's not being at war with someone per se, but realizing that we are very much on different paths and have a very much a different understanding of the system. Okay. And so I don't really have in my own personal life the amount of spiritual people. Psychics isn't necessarily the right word because there's a lot of people that deal with psychic phenomena that are not of the light, but people that are godly. I really would like some sensitive, godly people in my life that feel like they are capable of receiving revelations or perceiving world events to be able to basically talk to behind the scenes about the things that I'm going through. Okay. That would be something that would be very beneficial. And if they would be open to me hosting like a town hall forum with 6 people, 7 people on Skype where we talk to each other on video, it could be me involved, a guy named Gypsy Fox, others, but basically having a round table of deep thinkers talking about how we're having shared dreams and experiences would really help us not feel so alone. Okay. And so this is ultimately why you may need to take time off the internet completely or away from your cell phone. If you want to receive a download and get close to God, then you have to disconnect. You have to shut down the channels. You have to disconnect from email. You have to disconnect from chat. You have to disconnect. You have to relocate. You have to go camping. You have to pitch a tent. You have to get a journal. You have to quit your job or take time off from your job. Like you need to get off medication, not get on medication. You need to get off of certain drugs, not get on certain drugs. You need to pull back from certain information sources instead of tap into. And maybe for some people, they literally do need to unsubscribe from me and step back from me to really have whatever shift that they're going to have within their own consciousness. So I have no problem with people unsubscribing from me. And we can see that this week several have. Okay. Now I'm shadow banned, and it's difficult for me to get these perspectives out there to the people that need it. But I continue to do this out of a belief that I am helping some people. And what I can tell from the recent polls, more of you rather than less of you say that this information is helping you. Okay. So let's go back to this live stream. So I want to break free from my own patterns of behavior and do something new. I'm even ending my gym membership because I want to be around new people. I don't want to be around the same people. I keep saying I'm going to quit my channel month after month, but I keep coming back to share these perspectives with the only people, I'm repeating myself, that I know right now that are receptive to some of my ideas. There aren't other channels or places where I can go on the internet or in the real world to share my ideas, which is why I continue to do what I'm doing here. All right. But it's not enough. And the shadow banning, call it what you will, the limitations of the modern internet have caused me to feel strong emotions of unrest during this solar maximum season, as you've noticed. And so I have feelings of emotional unrest, unhappiness, and I want to create some real tangible change in my life. For the 10th time, I'd love to get my hands in the dirt in an off grid community, not necessarily as someone's slave, but as a co creator of a new free way of life. It's like I'm in fantasy football mode, really. Um, and I want to encourage people to get more into that mode of thinking to where these fantasies become a reality and people start breaking free from the slavery. That's difficult for me. I don't have anything that brings me joy other than uploading. Okay, it's a very sad life, but I'm trying. See, this is what I've tried to do. I have not been successful at that. This is why I've tried to reach people in my community so I can get my eyeballs away from my channel, even stop uploading to my channel and live a real life with people in the real world where we talk about the issues that matter outside of the internet. Okay, I don't want to be on the internet right now. No, notice in the images they're using, there's a big emphasis on the sun. Solar maximum, increased solar flares. So I get the sense that people that are prone to racism, even if they don't admit it, and their real intentions why they attack certain people, this is the period in time in which hate comes out of people that we normally don't see. So don't be surprised by it. Like, oh my God, what is this? It is very predictable to see people engage in acts of hatred and other forms of interference. I'm very familiar with this. You may have noticed a recent upload from me where I read aspects of my old journal, and I'm actually audience is showing itself more clearly. So we're losing connection at this time. It looks like we still have connection. So we'll continue playing out this video for as long as we have a solid connection, and I'll continue to speak about this in a free flow. Like I'm seeking to basically move on from the channels, but I find it to be an impossibility to do that. So at the very least, I am seeking to like upgrade the caliber of content on the channels to focus primarily on the coming global conflict that we're experiencing, along with in-depth discussions about the solar flares and the solar effects and the planetary alignments and the new moon and the full moon and the unrest that we're seeing on the ground and the type of political shifts and maneuvers that we're seeing. I see myself as having a responsibility, and I see myself as basically violating God's law if I don't do that. I believe that I have been basically commanded by and instructed by the higher forces of the universe to actually talk about these concepts. And that if I do not show up on a regular basis and talk about these epiphanies that I have, then I'm basically wasting my time here on the earth. Okay. I want to thank you for watching. And I can go ahead and drop a link to the video that I'm watching in the description.